How you guys doing? Good, good, good. Good morning. You want to know something?
What?
I forgot something yesterday. I forgot something. I had one of those Homeric dough moments. All right? That's kind of a silly joke. Now look. I was thinking yesterday about the state issue. And you guys remember when I said pause. Now listen, there's certain issues when we think about state and when we understand what state is. And if we focus on it too much, that can cause us not to go into state. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So if you guys remember, what I said was, first of all, don't resist it, right? Don't create additional resistance. And second of all, I said to take right action. Okay, just make the choice to move through. Well, here's the part that I forgot. Okay? And I remember I was sitting there and I was like, there's something else I'm going to tell you in a bit. And let me just think of it. And I couldn't remember what it was. I don't like to read off of PowerPoint so much, as you guys notice, so occasionally that will happen. All right, now look. Here's the sort of realization that I had. And once I had this realization, between this and some other stuff I'm going to show you guys later today, state became a lot easier for me. All right, now here it is. Your mind, generally speaking, like we said, may try to block you from the nimbus. Right? It may block you from that. It may block you from going in state. So how do we get out of that? All right? How do we shock our way out of that? Well, I want you guys to think about it. We talked about imprints. You guys remember that?
Yes. Yeah.
Good. All right. By the way, when you guys were out last night, could you sort of notice yourself accessing different imprints and sort of seeing how your behavior maybe change in subtle or obvious ways?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Now look. When you're trying to access the part of your mind that you want, and your mind is blocking you from doing so, this is kind of how I see it. Principle number one, you are not your mind. All right? Your mind is like the sum of all the different autopilot responses that you have, social conditioning that you have, memory, labels, interpretations, that kind of stuff. So look, you have the ability to kind of say, to take over, all right? Not to let your mind drag you around like you're in like a wild river or something like that. You can be the one that takes control. Now, imagine it's like this. In your mind, you have the instruction manual for how to be a pimp. Okay? The manual is there. Okay? That's called your imprint. You got the manual. Why don't we imagine that that's a lot like a manual for flying an airplane? So let's say that you get into an airplane. You've got your buddy right here, your best friend, because your mind is your best friend, but your best friend can be annoying sometimes. So you're sitting there and you're flying, and you say, look, we're going to go fly this plane. He says, dude, we are not flying that plane. That's just going to get us in trouble. You say, no, we're flying the plane. He says, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to get in trouble. You say, look, we're flying this plane. Okay, so you drag him into the plane, which is kind of like you dragging yourself into the nightclub. Okay? You drag him in the plane, and you start the plane. He's going, dude, do not do this. I'm not going to let you do this. Okay, and you say, we're doing it. All right, now he's got the instruction manual in his hand. Okay, now think about this. He's got the instruction manual in his hand. And he says, I'm not giving you the instruction manual. Why aren't you going to give me the instruction manual? I'm not going to be able to fly this plane if you don't give me the instruction manual. He says, dude, because if I give you the instruction manual, you're going to go and you're going to fly. So I'm not giving it to you. So see, that's when you've got to kind of show your best friend that you're not screwing around. This is happening anyway. That's what it comes down to. So you can imagine it. It's like you're in the plane, you're taking off, and you pull it and you go, start driving forward. How about now, man? You going to give me that manual? Okay. No, dude, I am not giving you the manual. Okay. How about now? We're a little acceleration. Come on, dude. We both know we're doing this. Just give me the manual. Okay. No, I'm not giving you the manual. Start to take off. You're in the air. You're like, dude, we're done. Unless you give me that manual. Because this is happening. We're in the air. All right, I'll give you the manual. I'll give you the manual. And he gives you the manual. Okay. And then you go, boom, let's go. All right, if only flying was so simple. Okay? But really, meeting women is. And look, essentially what's happening here is you know how to talk. You know how to be confident. All those little mannerisms, you have picked those up. You might have picked them up consciously, like through your study of social dynamics, or you might have picked them up, or I can guarantee you've picked them up if you have any social acuity, even a minor amount. You don't think that you do, don't worry. You have picked them up unconsciously, all right? So in the same way that you might feel someone's status, That's because your unconscious mind knows what status looks like. And when you recognize yourself as being in that role, you guys remember the totem pole from yesterday? When you recognize that you're in that role, it will give you access. So think of it like a math problem when you're a kid. Or say even in high school if you're a mathematician now. I remember when I was in grade 10, which is about how far I'm headed in math, I would always have a hard time with that first question. That was always the toughest one. And I would procrastinate it, and I would procrastinate it. And finally, when I would sit down, that first math question would take me maybe 5-6 minutes, even if it was a small one. But then the second one would take 2 minutes. And then the third one, it was just like 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. All right? And that's because you have accessed that math part of your brain. In a lot of ways, it's really no different. All right? See, once you go past approach anxiety, all right, once you're past that, you may not have approach anxiety in the sense that you're like, oh, you know, I'm afraid to approach this girl or stuff like that. But you might still get those kind of moods. Look, say that you're sitting with your buddies. You're sitting there at a bar or at a restaurant having a good time. And there's some girls over there you want to go and talk to. Well, obviously, if say you're having a very logical conversation with your friends, your mind might not have accessed that part, that part of your mind yet that would make you most successful with women. So the thing is, you've got to kind of snap yourself out of it. That's really what it comes down to. It's no different than when you're sitting there watching television and your mind goes, no, I am resting, leave me alone. And you don't want to get up and do that first math problem. So it's just like flying the plane. You have to snap yourself into it. This is how I see it. Let me put it to you this way. The philosophy I'm talking about right now is how I approach virtually everything in my life. Because say that I'm going to come up here and do a seminar this morning. Look, if I wake up after a couple hours sleep, I can assure you, okay, believe it or not, okay, really, I'm not like, I'm in the mood to go talk for another 7 hours. Okay, I know what I'll do. I'll go up in front of all these cameras and I'll go talk for 7 hours. That sounds like a great idea. All right? I don't wake up out of my bed in the morning, even though people probably would imagine this of me. Wake up out of my bed in the morning, I'm like, hey guys, how you doing? All right, welcome to RSD. Oh wait, that's my alarm clock. Oh, okay. That's not the mode, right? You know? But regardless, I know that, let me tell you something I know about myself. Because I know that I have done it before and I can do it again, even as I walk down this path, right? I come down the elevator, I'm just doing my voice exercise to warm my voice up while the hotel people look at me like I'm strange. And walk down here, get up front, I'm ready to go, all right? I don't even need to think about it. Well, that's very much how I do approaches, all right? I might experience the same kind of thing that you guys experience, but the thing is, I'm like, okay, there's girls over there. I can't think of anything to say right now. Nothing's coming up. Well, I guess that's going to be awkward. Let's go, right? Okay? And then I go, all right? Okay? And that's it. And I'll go. And even if I can't, I'm like, hey, right? What's going on, right? And the girl's like, and I'm like, anyway, right? And I'll do that. I'm a lot more likely to do that than do what I used to do, like, a couple of years ago, back in the day, like what most newer guys do, which is like, oh man, how am I going to do this? I don't want to do it. All right, okay, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm not really like that so much, all right? I trust myself, okay? And I want you guys to trust yourselves. Just force that snap, all right? Look, sometimes even, I've been running the boot camps for over half a decade now, but I remember my first couple years of running the live boot camps, it was the same sort of thing, right? Like, I might be teaching seminar. It's kind of funny because when you teach seminar all day, you're kind of in a logical headspace, and then you get out there. Sometimes what would happen is I just wasn't feeling the vibe, and I would approach the first group of girls, and I'd have a really rough time. And what do you think I do? See, let me show you what I would do versus what most guys would do. Most guys are like, they go talk to that first girl, she blows them off. He's like, oh man, and then he goes back, with his buddies. Oh man, yeah, right? Kind of like procrastinating doing the next one. That's not how I always did it. Okay, that's not how I train myself because I don't have the luxury of doing that. So I'm just kind of like, it's kind of like, oh, hey, hey, ooh, she doesn't like me either. Oh hey, right? Okay, until something snaps. Okay? That's how I do it. You don't want to sit there procrastinating and letting yourself get stuck in your head. All I'm really trying to do, if I'm very in my head that day, which, I've actually managed, just to give you guys some hope here, I've managed to kind of like move past that. But let's say that I'm having just an unusually rough day and I'm stuck in my head. I'm not likely to just sit there hoping for things to happen, all right? I'm going to go boom, boom, boom until something clicks, until my mind goes, okay, here's the manual. Damn, this guy is obnoxious, right? That's the thing, okay? You want to be like that obnoxious guy, all right, to your mind, okay? Like when your mind won't give you what you're looking for, it should be like, give me, give it to me, right? Got it, all right, okay? That's what it's like, but most guys are like, come on, man. Come on, dude, please. Just give me the manual, man. Come on, dude. Right? No, give me the manual, okay? Give it to me. All right, okay? That's how you want to be, all right, with your mind. And that's how I'm like. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you're going to pay for it, okay? Let's go, all right? That's how it's got to be when you start off. You're starting to approach women. Don't let yourself start feeling bad. Don't start running down that path like, oh, this isn't working, man. You know, oh, man, I took this seminar. See, that's even the thing. Like, if you've taken a seminar on this, you've watched a seminar on this, right? That's only creating that much more resistance and self-pity when you can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh, all these other guys are doing it. I've taken a 4-day course on it. I can't even do it. So see, if anything, that's going to create more resistance. So look, don't allow resistance even to occur. That's the bottom line, all right? Cold pool, cold ocean. How do you go in? You jump in. You ever go swimming in the ocean and you see those dudes that are putting their tippy toes in? They're trying to tippy toe it, right? You know that, and then you kind of like wade in and they're like, ooh, ooh, right? And then like you get up to your waist point, like right where your belly button is, you're like, this is too cold, okay? Is that how you go in the ocean?
Nope. No.
Hell no, right? You just go in, okay? That's how it's done. And look, inevitably, you guys will go out and you will mess it up. And I mess it up every so often as well. But you want to know something? That's okay, because when you mess up, you just take it as a reminder of why you do things the way that you do. All right? Anytime that you screw something up, just take it as a reminder. Now look. Let's get back onto conflicting reality. And I want to start off by telling you guys a story. I want to tell you guys a story. So I'm out with my friend on Melrose, and we meet these 3 girls. Okay? This is kind of a bizarre story. It's from my early 20s, kind of like a silly frat type story. So we meet these 3 girls. Exchanged phone numbers. I just forgot about it. The next morning, they call me up. They say they want to come and hang out. All right? They're from San Diego. We're living in Los Angeles. I said, all right, you can come over. It was 3 girls. Nice guy that I am, I know another girl that I want to see, so I wind up calling over a 4th girl, all right? And the 3 girls are with my friends. What happened, however, was that the girl who initially took my number, she kept trying to talk to me and stuff like that, but because I tossed her over to my friend, her and my friend wound up hooking up. So that was like a really fun night. All 4 of us had a really great night. Fun for all involved. 2 weeks later, they come back. And apparently this girl has now got it in her head that now that she's hooked up with that guy, she's going to like run through the whole squad or something, and like I'm like the next one on the list. So we go out to a club, and she's talking to me, and I will not give her any attention because she's with my friend, and I will not do that under any circumstances. All right? So, I mean, I'll talk to her, but the point is I'm not going to like flirt back. So look, we go back to the house, and she's being all weird. All right? She's acting totally uncool to my friend, who honestly had been completely cool. And I don't like this one little bit, okay? It's really making me mad. I get very sensitive when my friends get messed with I'm more sensitive when my friends get bothered than even when I get bothered. So I just looked at the situation. I said, I don't like this. I said, you're all gone. You're all out of here. Get out. We're going, okay? So, boom, you're out. We walk down the hill. We go to Mel's Diner. Walk down to Mel's Diner. I take my buddy. I say, we're grabbing some new girls. Sit them down. Walk up to 2 exotic dancer girls, take their phone number, but that wasn't going anywhere. Walk up to these 2 other blonde girls, make out, pull them upstairs. As we walk upstairs, I wave to the girl that were mean to my friend and walk upstairs, okay? Because I was angry. I was just super, super duper pissed. Very mature. I'm not going to tell you that you guys should do that. I'm just saying what I was like in my early 20s. I was a maniac. So, go upstairs. Anyway, a couple months down the line, the same girls call me up, and they apologize profusely, all right? They apologize and apologize and apologize. I say, all right, look, maybe you can come over. meet me down at the restaurant and we'll talk and I'll decide if you guys can come back over again. We'll think about it. So they come over and they're sitting there and we're talking and suddenly they kind of scurry out. All right, isn't that kind of funny? Like they scurried out and I didn't think anything of it. So I get a phone call from outside and she's like, oh, my friends need to get a tampon. Is there, where can I go? I said, okay, go up to the pink dot. They leave, right? So I'm sitting there in line. Now it's funny, these are three, pretty attractive girls. This like heroin junkie, nasty, like just rugged looking dude comes up to me. And he's like, how do you know those girls? I didn't talk to him, right? I just like that. I just kept talking to my friends. So then he says again, he's like, how do you know Christy? I'm like, how do you know Christy? Right? And he's like, is she trying to make me jealous? I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? Right? And he's like, oh, you're the guy that lives with Courtney Love, aren't you? Right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh man, you guys really did a number on them. They were mad at you. Right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? So he goes on to tell the story. Basically what he says, and here's what it comes down to, is that after we dropped them off, the girls came over, sat at these guys' table. He's a heroin dealer, okay? Brings them up to his apartment. There's 2 of them and 3 girls. They don't have anyone to hook up with the 3rd girl. So this is what he says. He says, we called over the biggest nerd, the biggest loser you've ever seen. And he came over, and the 3rd girl, she just pulled down her pants, and he just stuck it in. Okay? Holy shit, right? Like, what is this? Because this is my friend Todd's girl, right? I'm like, sorry, Todd. Dude, right? And like, this is LA, right? This is classic Hollywood, just drama, okay? Nonsense. So then he says to me, and this is a lesson for you guys, he's like, none of you guys had sex with them, right? I'm like, excuse me? He's like, they said they were virgins. We didn't use condoms. All right? And I was like, oh my God, dude. Holy shit. These girls just had sex with no condom with heroin dealers, right? They don't even know them. What is going on here, all right? I'm shocked, okay? Shocked. I'm just like, this is, like, I'm new to LA at this point, right? I've never seen this kind of thing. You veterans of LA, you're like, oh yeah, whatever. That happened last week. Whatever, right? I could not believe it, okay? Because these were just 3 very nice, sweet girls. And look, that is what opened up my mind to the next thing that I'm going to talk to you guys about. All right? This shocking story, okay? So look, we talked about how people have their own sense of reality, okay? Everyone has a sense of reality. So what kind of reality would those girls might have? Do you remember we talked about it yesterday? Okay? Simultaneously weak and strong, and we'll get there. Simultaneously weak and strong. So, what are some concepts in the reality? I'm a hot girl, guys want me, guys chase me, I'm desired, that kind of thing. All right, we'll talk about what happens when that reality breaks down, okay, and what the heck happened in this bizarre situation. So look, the first thing we're going to talk about today, as we lead into that, is called masculine polarity. So think about this concept. Polarity. And what is that? What is it? How do guys try to get it? What do guys do when they lack it? What do you do when you lack it? All right. First off, women have a simultaneously strong and weak reality. Ain't that the truth? Okay, so on one level, take some of the bizarre anomalies we see out here in Los Angeles. Say that you have a girl who's a model. She's doing modeling. On one level, she knows she's hot. Agreed? Okay, she knows she's hot. But on another level, she's also taking criticism like, oh, you have a improperly place nostril or something, you know, like some kind of nonsense, right? Your left toe, your left pinky toe has a freckle on it, right? And she's like, oh God, I'm so hideous, okay? Because she's competing with those other beautiful girls. We'll talk more about how this plays in the ego structure later. But look, girls tend to have both a very, very strong sense of reality in the sense that for a chode talking to them, they know very well who they are. But at the same time, that reality can also crumble very, very quickly when, you know, when those kinds of, you know, thought patterns start to emerge in their minds, all right? So look, as a guy, when you're speaking to an attractive woman, it can seem like she's really centered, she's really strong in her own reality at first. As time goes on, you begin to realize that most people in general who haven't studied self-actualization, the majority of people that have never studied being centered, being self-actualized, most of them are not that centered. Do you want to know why that is? Because it is unconscious competence, and they don't know how they're doing it, right? They feel centered most of the time, but when they start to fall off their center, they don't recognize the behaviors, they don't know what's going on, so they just start to react. You see the same thing in like the quote-unquote popular cool guys, where like they can be really dominant, really alpha, but sometimes the people don't react to them in the way they expect. They take on the behaviors of a chode. And the reason why is because they don't have a conscious understanding of what's going on. They're just reacting. Okay? That's why it's great to study self-development, social dynamics, self-actualization. So we go back to polarity and the differences between guys and girls. Have you guys ever noticed that a lot of like the hottest girls in like the movie industry or, you know, models and stuff like that, they tend to date very eccentric boyfriends a lot of the time?
Sure.
Has ever seen that?
Sure.
Okay. Have you guys ever seen like, take a guy like, who might not be considered in a classical sense good looking, take a guy like Jack Black, all right? Just to throw an example. Because isn't it funny how whenever we look at like the cool guys out there, we'll look at like, you know, the George Clooney's or the Brad Pitt or something like that. Why don't we as a group start maybe looking at the quote unquote not classically attractive guys who we still think could be really successful with women? So one guy, I think he's married or has a girlfriend because he just, you know, he probably just loves life and he just loves his girl. But the point is that if you look at that guy, that's an example of a guy who you could really picture being out at a club and just being so self-amused, so in his own reality that he could spark a lot of attraction. Who knows if it totally crumbles in front of women? I have no idea. But you could picture that, all right? You could picture what that would be like. Take a guy like Chris Farley. You guys remember Chris Farley? R.I.P.?
Yeah.
Right? I would bet you, and I mean, who knows, but I would bet you that that's the kind of guy that could really get up in a girl's face and just be so silly and so ridiculous. And if a girl's really, really gorgeous, she has just never seen that before. You know, a guy that could just get up there and just be so just funny and in his own reality. And that would be something that would be really attractive, all right? These are kind of, you know, guys more on the comedian side. But I just want to get you guys thinking about that and what's involved in that. Why a lot of the time girls date eccentric boyfriends. So look. What are the differences in behaviors between guys and girls? Let's really think about this. Differences in behaviors. How does a girl show a strong polarity versus a guy showing a strong polarity? Right? When we say polarity, what we mean by that is like that draw, all right? That sort of draw of attention towards you. Polarity, that's like a magnet. You guys know a magnet? Magnet has polarity. So it's kind of like that attracting force, all right? Likewise, when as a guy, when you have a strong polarity, when a girl stands beside you, she's going to feel that energy coming off of you, all right? She's going to feel those emotions going on, and she'll probably rationalize that in a million different ways, or maybe she'll just know it's attraction, whatever it is. But she's going to feel that, even just standing next to you, she's going to feel that. Likewise, look, have you guys ever been standing beside a girl who, even if she wasn't the most physically attractive, like maybe she was not your perfect 10 in terms of looks, look, let's say she's straight up. Let's say she, look, let's go hardcore here. Let's say she's a straight up, round, fatty.
Yeah.
Have you not in your entire life inexplicably found a fat girl attractive?
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay? Right? I'm like, no, I haven't got you, right? No, like, look. Right? No, really. Like, let's be real here. Like, have you not ever been speaking with a girl who is not physically attractive at all, and you're just like kind of entranced, you know, right? And you don't know why, okay? What's that?
Rubenesque.
Yeah, like, what does that mean, Rubenesque?
Big.
Big? Okay. Oh, she's so Rubenesque, right? All right, so look. Likewise, have you ever been speaking with a girl who's like drop dead gorgeous, who every chode would probably drop to his knees to hook up with her, and you just feel nothing?
All the time, sure.
Nothing, right? You can't feel a damn thing. You almost feel like you'd be cheapening yourself, in a way, right? And so the thing is, isn't that kind of like a, you know, like a funny sort of thing? And by the way, when we talk about being naturally screening and naturally selective, I think a lot of guys, there's so much coming from the frame of, I've got to hook up with every hot girl that will have me. They're not very naturally screening. Whereas when you can get in touch with what really attracts you, with what your 10 is, in that case, you can be a lot more naturally screening. Now look, that's where polarity comes in. So let's talk a little bit more about that and what that means. All right. Have you guys ever heard of congruence tests?
Yeah.
Good. A congruence test. Most girls are not exactly looking to offer themselves to just any guy. They need a guy that's strong. He's at ease in his everyday interaction with the world, so they can trust him if the situation gets hectic, and they can just have a good time and can just experience good emotions when he's around. All right, so look, I want you guys to consider this. Women have the capacity to be both, you know, what you would consider stereotypically masculine, and they have the capacity to be what's stereotypically feminine.
Right.
All right? And different women have different needs and desires at different points of their lives. Take a girl like Hillary Clinton, for example. From what I've seen of her, which is very little, truth be told, so I can't really judge, but from what I've seen, she doesn't seem like the kind of girl that wants to be on, like, you know, the next Girls Gone Wild video. Right? Okay, Girls Gone Wild with Hillary. All right? Girls Gone Wild Washington.
Oh, God, scary
Okay?
thought.
Scary, all right? Okay? All right, be nice. She could be our future president. So, okay. So, look. You know, you don't really picture her, like, up on the stage, fucking busting a move, right? You know? It's hard to kind of, you know, picture her with her girlfriends, you know, doing tequila off each other's tits or something like that. All right? Okay? It's kind of, okay, like tomatoes turning to me. All right? Look, you know, it's kind of hard to picture that. All right? Because she has, you know, she's more in that stereotypically masculine kind of vibe. But generally speaking, even a girl, so bad, dude. Okay, even a girl, right, who, you know, who has that side, in a lot of ways, she may want to experience that more feminine side. All right? And a woman cannot really be free to experience that when the guy has no strength to him. All right? When the guy doesn't look like he's at ease with the world, if she doesn't feel like if things get hectic, if she can rely on you, then obviously she's going to have to, you know, be more like Hillary around you. She cannot feel at ease. So again, when we think about a congruence test, she's going to do little things to mess with you. And congruence tests can be really obvious, as in when you're first starting to get good at this stuff, you get very obvious ones, but they can also be subtle. And I kind of want to focus on the more subtle ones today, because I find that's kind of the stuff I find more interesting. Now, as far as the more obvious ones, look, when a girl is giving a congruence test, she's doing two things. Number one, she wants to feel the strength of your reality. She wants to feel that off you. Have any of you guys ever had a girlfriend that was just like addicted to testing you?
Oh, yeah.
Anyone ever had that? And she just cannot get enough of it, right? Because it's like a turn on for her to see how you're not going to react to her nonsense. It's like she loves it, okay? It can actually be, that's kind of the downside of this, is like, you know, once you reach a level where like you just want some like peace and enjoyment with your girlfriend, and she's like addicted to seeing you like just like, come on, no, right? And she's like, oh God, right? She loves it. Then of course, you know, sometimes it just can kind of mess with your vibe of trying to relax sometimes. But whatever, it is what it is, right?
In teaching, I saw that all the time. They love congruence testing me.
Oh yeah.
It seems like all they wanted to do.
That's all they want to do? Yeah, those rascal kids. All right. So likewise, they want to feel the strength of your reality, and they want to see that you're capable of asserting yourself as a man. So some of the things that these girls will do is prodding you to justify yourself, saying insecure things, saying obnoxious things to make you jealous or to make you insecure. Like maybe you're out with a girl on a date and she tells you she has a boyfriend just to mess with you. Being cranky or throwing tantrums to see if you'll be dragged into it. calling you out on your worst features to see if you're insecure about them, trying to get you to qualify yourself to her so that she can have the selector role. Like, no, you're not the selector, I'm the selector. Qualify yourself to me. She might want to see if you'll do it. And likewise, accusing you of things, accusing you of being a jerk, accusing you of needing her approval, accusing you of not living up to her standards. Now look, those are the more obvious ones, okay? Those are obviously very, very blatant, okay? But for the most part, you guys remember we spoke yesterday? Here is your perceptual input, and that's what the congruence test looks like. It doesn't fit, all right? You don't even see it. You just blow it off playfully, okay? Playfully blow it off. Don't let it mess with your flow. Now, let's think, what is a more subtle congruence test? Like on a more subtle level, where does this come in? She's wanting to see the strength of your reality.
You need a decision. She might like,
oh, yeah.
You might be making a decision, and she's like, what about if we do this? And you're like,
yeah.
a little flicker of like, oh, what,
sure.
You're fucked.
Yeah, I mean, especially like more in a relationship. Yeah. And look, can you guys see how a newbie might confuse this? Because maybe a girl's just like in a relationship is just giving some input of what she wants. And he's like, I can't let her control me, right? And then of course, it looks like he's reacting in and of itself. Do you guys see that? Mm-hmm. Because if you're trying to control just to make her like you, what's happening there?
Supplication.
It's supplication, right? It's advanced supplication. When you're acting indifferent to make her like you, what is that called? It's called advanced supplication. Think of that as a new term for you, okay? You guys know what supplication is, right? Advanced supplication. That's when you're like trying to do things that you don't even really feel just to make her like you because you heard them from a pickup seminar. You know what I'm saying? That is advanced supplication. At the same time, sometimes you have to do advanced supplication just to learn how to do it, all right? There is a learning curve, all right? Typically, you have to start acting indifferent before you actually become indifferent. Most of the time. Sometimes you can learn it through inner work as well. Whatever path you take to get, who cares? When you're speaking with a girl, a more subtle kind of congruence test, which is not even a test on her part, by the way, not even really a test, is like who's controlling the rhythm of the conversation. We spoke about this yesterday. So a lot of the time when you're speaking with a girl, in the same way that some girls will give like a really big congruence test, like a really obvious one, and then she feels attracted because of that, other times you can just be speaking with a girl and she just quickly changes the rhythm of her conversation to match yours, and immediately that's giving the same effect as what a congruence test would be. By the way, have you guys ever heard of the concept of mirroring? Mirroring and matching? What is the issue? Okay, maybe it's an NLP concept or a rapport concept, that's fine. But in terms of being attractive to women, what is the fundamental problem with mirroring and matching?
At some point, you lose the lead.
Like immediately? Right? No. Yeah, you do, dude. Think about it. If you're sitting here and I'm trying to match you, I'm like, who's leading now?
Right, yeah. You don't know.
Okay, immediately. You're immediately leading, right?
Yeah.
The whole point of this is the problem with White Ivory Tower study of attraction. Take your White Ivory Tower nerd doing his PhD or master's degree, right? He's like, I'm going to do this on attraction. So he goes out to the bar with his notepad, all right? And he's looking at, he's watching the couples doing empirical study instead of just actually having some balls and stepping up and doing it himself, right? So he's watching this. And he's like, it appears that the couples who really like each other will start to mirror each other. They mirror each other's movements, right? Therefore, when we do our next Discovery Channel documentary, we will put into our documentary, you must mirror the other person. Okay? You guys also see the stuff about how they're like, oh, you have to have like a symmetrical face and all that kind of stuff, right? And you're like, I don't look like that, right? Okay? It's like, gee, thanks. Right? Thanks for limiting beliefs, Discovery Channel. All right? But the thing is, or like the pheromones. I don't have the right pheromones. All right? It's nonsense, okay? But the thing is, no, you want to be leading. All right? You want to be leading, and then she will mirror you a lot of time. And if she doesn't, she doesn't. What difference does it make? But the point is, don't worry about mirroring anybody. All right, now look. With congruence tests, the woman wants to feel that you are rooted in your own reality. She wants to feel that you're centered. All right? And that is creating a lot of polarity right there. That's creating a lot of the draw. This is something that occurs just in the general interactions. All right? The key distinction, are you dictating the energy or are you being affected by it? Okay? Repeat after me. Man, when I'm done. Man, action.
Man, action.
Girl, reaction.
Girl.
Reaction. All right? Consider this, okay? What are most guys doing, though, around an attractive woman?
Reacting.
Right? I don't know. I just don't know why I can't be successful with women. I try to react to everything on time and do these right moves, okay? Reacting. Now look. Stay positive, stay upbeat, and act through your own intentions. Tap into something inside of yourself for your mood. All right, now look. Say that you're speaking with the girl, she breaks the rhythm of the conversation a little bit, and you hold it without realizing it. Boom, we get attraction. All right, now look. When we talk about acting through your own intentions, what does that mean? Is that not one of the toughest concepts you could ever think about? Acting through your own intentions. Because what is acting through your own intentions? All right.
Having clarity.
Sure, clarity. Look, think of it.
Right action.
What's that? Right action. What's that?
Being proactive.
Being proactive.
You're not looking towards her, just following whatever you got in here and just...
Yep.
Just not being watching it anything, just doing it. And that's what saw people flowing dead.
Yeah, like you're doing what you want to do instead of what you think she wants.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the masculine polarity.
Huge.
Yes.
Action, reaction. All right?
Sure.
Now, when you come to the Real Social Dynamics seminar, you come here and you hear from your Real Social Dynamics seminar, act through your own intentions. And so you go, okay, I came to this seminar to learn how to attract women. To make women like me, I should act through my own intentions. So you walk up to the girl and you go, man, I want her to like me. I'm really going to act through my own intentions so that she'll like me. Okay? I'm really going to act through my own intentions because that crazy mofo Tyler said it's cool. Is that acting through your own intentions?
No.
All right. How about this? How about the guy who takes the girl out for months and months of like expensive dates at like L'Orangerie or like $100 restaurants because he's brought up to be a gentleman because of his social programming? Is he acting through his own intentions?
No.
Right?
No, he's not.
He thinks he is, right? How about a guy who's being needy? He just feels that it's like, I just can't wait another minute without calling her because I need her so bad. And Tyler said to act through my own intentions. And I want to call. Is that acting through your own intentions?
No.
All right.
To fill a void himself. You can't do it.
The feminine can't touch it.
Exactly. Did you have a question back there, by the way? No? You just like to rest your arm up like that? I do that too. That's all good. All right. So look. Programming. No. Okay? You heard it from RSD? As much as I'd love to say so? No. All right? That's not acting through your own intentions, okay? Neediness? Lack? No. That is not acting through your own intentions. Look, acting through your own intentions is something that you come to over years and years and years, isn't it? It is like peeling back the layers of programming, of other people's nonsense that they've put into your head to get to your core. So every year of your life that goes by, you will become better at acting through your own intentions if you have that as a marker that you're shooting towards. All right? That's really what it is. So at first, okay, here's a great example. You want to know just a classic example of this? I think it's absolutely great. Who here has ever been talking to a girl? And by the way, I'm preparing to now screw up countless newbies who will try this and look like big dorks. Who's ever been talking to a girl? She's got a drink, right? Like say that that's your drink. Talking to a drink, and he just goes, thanks. Like that. Anyone ever tried that? Yeah? What happens?
She like kind of looks at you and like for a minute she's like trying to see if like I guess you're congruent with it.
Yeah. Were you congruent? Were you congruent?
Yeah.
And what happened?
She just accepted it. Like
Yeah.
she took the drink, she smiled, and she was like,
Was she more attracted or less attracted?
it was like
Neutral? All right, well, that example didn't help me. Now look. Okay. All right, so look. Have you ever tried it? If this didn't help me, I don't want to hear it.
Last night, I was at the Saddle Ranch.
Yeah.
Music was on. No one was dancing. I was with the girl. I decided I liked the song. We started dancing.
Awesome. Great. You're leading. Awesome. Okay? Anyone in here ever tried the drink thing?
Yeah.
You've tried it?
Yeah.
What happens when you do it?
Just get more attractive.
More attractive.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, see? I'm right. Okay, now look. Okay? So, look, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you go, like, you'll learn this, okay? Most newbies will try this at some point. It's like, it's one of those weird things that when you're a newbie, you're like, you really hit the zone, right? Like you hit your stride, and then like it suddenly just occurs to you to like take the drink and try it. Like, it's like, I probably tried this like my third night I ever went out when I got in state, alright? Without even knowing that I was doing it. And then the girl gets really attracted. So then your brain goes, this is awesome, right? It's my drink move. You know what I'm saying? Like my drink move, right? So later, as a newbie, you're talking to the girl, and you see attraction is going down because you're being a chode, right? And you go, how can I make her like me? And you're like, ding, right? And you're like, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? That's my drink! Buy me a new drink! It worked, yeah? It worked last time, right? Okay? So see, that's like these funny little anomalies when you're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. Or if you're getting pickup advice, look, isn't pickup advice a funny thing? Isn't it? Mm-hmm. Because when you're learning, when guys are giving you their advice on how to be successful with women, they at some point tried something and it worked. Right. And they liked it. So then they write about it, and they're trying to help you. You know, they're trying to do their very best to help you because it's worked for them and they're giving you their best advice. But really, it worked for them because they're acting through their own intentions. Another guy who's not acting through his own intentions goes out and tries it, it doesn't work. Now at the same time though, look, sometimes you can read stuff out of a book and you kind of connect with it. You're like, that's funny, like, I like that, okay? And then maybe it can be a part of your repertoire. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a black and white type thing, but I'm just trying to explain why sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
I was just saying, you have to be able to own everything you do. If you don't own it, then it sucks.
Yep. You guys hear what he said? Mm-hmm. Own everything you do. If you don't own it, it sucks. So.
It's also state and situationally dependent.
What's that?
State and situation dependent.
Yeah, the whole science behind learning to be good with women, the guy's in state, he goes and he tries this line, and it's amazing. Right? And then it works. This is why at RSD we do these nonsense openers. Like, you know another nonsense opener that we do? All right? Papa hates it when I teach these, by the way. He's like, you shouldn't be teaching this stuff to clients. It's so stupid. Right? And I don't blame him because it could be missing. This is the type of thing that like writers will write about. They're like, this is their opener. Look at how stupid it is. Right? Because they're not looking at the context. But one opener that I've used, I go, hey, what do you like better, chicken or fish? Really?
Yes.
I'm a red meat man myself. Mm-hmm. Okay? All right? Actually, the opener is called the Do You Like Chicken opener. Hey, you like chicken?
I'm vegetarian.
What do you like better? Carrots or avocados?
Avocados.
Really? I like strawberries. Let's try. Okay? All right? Okay? Just nonsense. All right? See? He's feeling it. Can you feel the mojo?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay? See you later, baby. Okay?
I'm in love.
Yeah, all right. Okay? So look. That's the thing, is like just nonsense, all right? One of the reasons why we teach nonsense is because it's not because it's like nonsense is necessarily the best, although sometimes nonsense has a kind of a benefit that it shows you're not trying. But look, what I really like to do is really show guys that you can open with anything. That's like kind of a big epiphany on boot camp, that you can open with anything, all right? Now, going along the little path here with polarity, I've got to be unreactive. I've got to act through my own intentions. I've got to be unreactive. I can't react. 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 Is that a good way to think?
No.
Hell no, right? That's an affirmation. Sure, negative affirmation. A very bizarre thought loop to be in. So, you remember I said yesterday the concept of have fun? Like whenever there's too many concepts going on in your mind, just like on one level we can have like the nerd speak when we're sitting in a room with no girls, big group of guys, but on another level we can sort of, you know, shrink that back. We can contract all of our information and summarize it in one sentence, have fun. But you want to know the other one that I really like? Be authentic. All right? Just be authentic. Rather than saying, I've got to pass the congruence test and stuff like that, just say be authentic. All right? Be the person you're meant to be, you know, whatever you want to call it. Be authentic. Now, this is a section that I really enjoy teaching because once you understand it, it'll give you a lot of laughs when you're out at the nightclub. Chaos versus grounding. Have you guys ever heard the expression to be a grounding energy, a source of grounding energy? All right? It's a great expression, being a source of grounding energy. Now, a man and a woman each have different sides when we think about polarity, all right? Each of them have different sides. And when we think about feminine polarity and masculine polarity and how they interact with each other, why don't we look at some of the ways that women unconsciously, and here's what's interesting, is that this is unconscious, will assert that polarity. And before I say that, I want to ask a question. Have you guys ever, okay, like I know in my case growing up, sometimes people would act in ways that I didn't really understand. Did you guys ever experience that? Like not just in terms of like some guy that's crazy or like some kid that eats cardboard or crayons or something, right? Or glue, right? But I'm talking like just people that like, they act in ways where it's kind of like, do you guys ever remember maybe you like talk to somebody and they don't answer your questions? Like not even deliberately, like it's almost like they don't hear you or something like that? Or have you ever looked at female behavior and like how a girl can be really into you when you're talking, say, like a restaurant or club or something, and then the conversation breaks apart and she makes no effort to restart the conversation? Like you would think that because she's really enjoying it. I mean, she's sitting over there bored out of her mind when a second ago you were having a great conversation. You would think that she would come back and reinitiate the conversation. And you think, why is she not coming back over to reinitiate? You might think that. You know, why do sometimes guys act in the way they do? Like, even like, you know what was one for me? I used to always wonder why kids on the playground picked on each other. I swear to God, I never understood that for many years, like why kids were always trying to assert status over one another. I would just look at it, I'm like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And sometimes I would do it and I felt really dumb about it later. I remember once like I made fun of this retarded kid and I just felt like the biggest, because everyone used to do it and I participated in one day. I felt like a massive moron for like the next 6 months. So look, what do women do? Let's look at some of the behaviors that women have. First up, and these are subtle. I want you guys to understand that these are subtle. First up, being totally fulfilled and enraptured by the energy of the environment. So what does that mean? Have you ever been out at a nightclub and you see a group of girls that are just dancing and having fun? Yeah. They're having so much fun, right? And say that like her friend comes up behind her and she's like, Susie, she's like, ah, Susie, right? And they start hugging and jumping up and down. You ever been talking to a girl and then her friend comes up from behind and just totally ends it for you because they start jumping up and down and hugging each other and stuff like that?
Or like a song comes on and they're just fucking gone.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Who here was around in 2004 doing this? Anybody? Do you guys remember the Hey Ya song by Outkast? How many times did friggin' Andre 3000 cockblock you?
They disappear. They just poof. They're gone.
Yeah, no joke. Me and my buddy Mike were talking to these two girls, and we were joking about this because that was like at the height of the song. We're joking about it, and the two girls like, we would never do that. We're not going to leave if that comes on. We promise. Okay. The song comes on, and the girl like. They go, we're so sorry. We're sorry. Right? And they just run. Okay? They ran out because like the girls just stormed the dance floor. All right? Isn't it funny how like as a guy you could enjoy dancing, but when the right song comes on for a woman, most of the time, it's like she's being tickled almost. Right? It's like it's tickling her. It's like I remember seeing a girl in a restaurant server when the Hey Ya song came on, and she's walking with her things, and the Hey Ya song comes on, she's like that, and the shit fell over. All right, all the shooter glasses fell on the ground because it was like it was tickling her. She's like, ooh, ooh, like that. All right, with the whole, with the whole song thing.
The guys do that too, though.
They're gay.
Like,
yeah,
like I got that one, like for example, like the move, bitch, get out.
You take like a pimp strut, it's like move it, you're like.
Nah, because it's like that beat is so fucking loud.
It's a different energy though. Because for a guy, it's about
you don't jump up and down, like, oh my God, what's up? But you just go like.
Yeah. Okay. See, I wish I was more like that, right? But let me ask you this, and it's actually an honest question. If you're talking like a really hot girl, okay, and you've like made out already and stuff, but you haven't even got the number, and then the Move Bitch song comes on, are you like, fuck this? You're like, yeah, or are you, or you know, or right, or do you stick in? What do you do?
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking.
Yeah, see, so yeah, but I don't know, yeah. And also different people, like you may, okay, and this is actually a good, it sounds like a negative thing, it's actually a good thing. You may be more in touch with that feminine side of your polarity, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like, don't worry, that's a good thing, okay? That's a good thing, alright? I mean, it's called being well-rounded, okay? So, you know, unlike most dudes that are kind of just like, okay? So, yeah, so that's a good thing. Alright, so look, women are very enraptured with the energy of their environment. Like, have you guys ever been, okay, God forbid, ever been into a girl's bedroom before? Right? Anyone made it? Have you made it there? Because I haven't, right? Okay? You went there twice. Okay. Put some like, man. Right? So, okay. So you go in like a girl's bedroom, and have you ever noticed like they could have like the unicorn poster up, or like pictures, like you know all like the pictures and stuff, you know?
Teddy bears all over the place, man.
They have what?
Like teddy bears and shit.
Yeah, teddy bears, right? And you're like, this one is, I got it here, and it makes me feel so warm.
And this one is
this.
You know, like when they were 3 years old, and the feet falling off and like shit, but you know?
Yeah. See, this is how I found out what's inside a girl's bedroom. It's ass in class.
The Journey poster.
The Journey poster. That's Jeffy's room. All right.
Oh shit, it's probably Jeffy's.
Yeah. Jeffy's actually got an Easy E poster up on the wall like that. All right. So look. Okay. Next, dressing and walking in a way that gets attention. So like, look, think of it this way. We're thinking polarity, like that magnet of attention that a woman has. So say that she's sitting there dancing with her friends, you know, just going nuts. As a guy, you see that and you could like wish that you could be a part of that, you know, like it can draw your attention. Likewise, a girl has a certain way of walking, right? And she develops this unconsciously. So she, you know, sways the hips, she might push out her chest, whatever it is. She has a certain way of moving and a certain way of dressing that will pull, right? It pulls the attention. So again, you know, that's that sort of polarity, right? And notice how some women have a strong polarity like that and some don't. We use the Hillary Clinton example. You're probably not going to see Hillary, you know, walking up beside Obama, like, right? Like that. You're not so much likely to see that. Next up.
Whereas Monica's like the feminine.
Which Monica? Monica Lewinsky? Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that could be a great example. Next up. This is a big one, and as a guy, you should do the same thing too. Enjoying whatever she's doing and not scanning the room looking for people to meet. So if you guys ever notice like a really hot girl, a lot of time like they'll tend to walk sort of almost like a straight line in a way. Like if they're walking through the the venue, they're kind of just like you know like they go like that. They're not like like the needy guy, for example, all right? She'll kind of walk like that, especially a girl who's really gorgeous. She'll be walking through, like, say you're at a restaurant, for example. So you're at the restaurant, and you're sitting down, and you've got, like, this gorgeous girl that has so much attention walking through. So she'll kind of walk through just sort of on her path, right, as everybody else turns their heads to look up. You can see a girl who's not used to being hot. Maybe she dressed hotter than she normally does, who's, she's kind of like, right, like, oh, I got all this attention. But a girl who's had it for years and years and years, she doesn't really react that strongly to it. She's just like, boom. She's kind of she's doing her own thing. And that makes you want her even more. You guys ever seen the cover of Cosmo magazine? How the girls have kind of like the bitch look, right? They have that look like where they're just kind of doing their own thing. And it's like, it's got that kind of like goddess look to it.
Catwalk models.
What's that? Oh yeah, catwalk models is a great example. Next up, guys. Letting the energy of the environment flow through her and even dancing for hours and hours on the same spot and playing mock bisexual with her friends.
Yeah.
Okay? So, when we really think about it, that's a really interesting one to me. Especially the whole mock bisexual thing. I find that really interesting. Now, on one level, look, sometimes girls just want to dance, right? They want to dance. and they don't want to dance with any of the guys there because whether they don't like them or they have a boyfriend or they just don't want to dance with guys, and they'll dance with their girlfriends and just be silly. That's fine. But on another level, all right, I really want to articulate this to you guys in a way that you understand, because once you understand this, a lot of things are going to click into place. So I really need you to follow me here. Because we're like social beings, when we're doing something that our brain says, okay, this has value, like this is giving us status, we will tend to kind of like just sort of stick there, if that makes any sense. We'll kind of tend to keep doing it. So do you guys remember on the first day when I talked about the warm end and the cold end of the pool? Well, say that a girl is up on the speakers, right? And she's dancing with her friends, and she's got the attention, so she has the value. She's in the warm end of the pool now. And so that's why a girl, she can dance doing and you know, when you don't know how to dance, by the way, when you see a girl dancing, it seems like mystical, right? But who here's ever taken like a dance class before, right? So when you actually take a dance class, did you notice how this, like before when a girl was dancing, it looked like almost hypnotizing. But what you realize later is that most girls in the club, their dancing is like not that complicated or anything. It's very straightforward, right? It's very sexy, but it's not like when I used to see it, I was like, I don't know how she's doing that or what's going on, right? Later you realize it's actually pretty straightforward. So the girl might sit there doing the same couple moves, you know, or same kind of like rhythm for like, we're talking 4 hours here.
She gets in a trance.
Yeah, she gets in a trance, right? We're talking, like, really think about this. We're talking 1 hour, 2 hour, even up to like 3, 4 hours. If she's going to dance from like, say, 10 until 2 or 11 until 3. 4 hours on the same spot. Likewise, playing mock bisexual with her friends. So what's going on there? Well, what's basically going on is this. If you have a celebrity, as an example, and someone wants to be friends with that celebrity, and the celebrity says, you know, let's go and get my groceries. The person who's following that celebrity will feel like it's a worthwhile investment of their time and energy to follow him around or her around to get those groceries. All right? Because they're in the one, it's like, oh, I'm getting groceries with Tom Cruise. This is the warm end of the pool, right? And people will feel like they're doing it. Likewise, people, when they're at a party, if it's a hot party, they'll stay there for hours and hours and hours while the party's hot. When the party's no longer hot, they leave. So, or likewise, say that remember, the big dinner table? When the value is in one place, people want to stay there. It's the warm end of the pool. When it dissipates, again, they leave. So when a girl's dancing, all right, try to follow this. When a girl is dancing for hours and hours on the same spot, she's in the warm end of the pool. That's why the time will pass. Likewise, see, okay, I think a lot of guys mistake what pulling means. Like this kind of a side tangent, but like a lot of guys have a mistake in their minds about what it means to pull the girl from the club. A lot of guys think that it's like, so, you want to get out of here? And it's like it's on for sex immediately. All right? And sometimes that happens. Look, especially as you get old, look, let me tell you something. As you get more and more into the natural style, you're going to start getting instances where girls will say shit like, God, I'm so horny, I need you to take me out of here. And you'll get cases like that like once a month, and you'll be like, oh my God. All right? You'll see that. It's a very rare thing, but you will see it, including with especially really hot girls will say that to you because they know what they want. And when a girl who's super hot knows what she wants, she's a lot more likely just to have the balls to just take it. Okay? Now, when you extract a girl out of the club, you're thinking, oh, like, you know, is this like a sex thing? Is it like to get this really good food? No, it's that she's in the warm end of the pool. If you and your friends are the cool guys, and you say the party's going this way, she just wants to stay in the moving party, the moving circus, the moving hot tub. That's why she's coming with you, right? You're the party. You're the one having fun. You're like, hey, let's go. She's like, okay. Boom, it's moving. She's not thinking about what she's doing. She's not, you know what I'm saying? She's not thinking about it. It's just happening. She's just responding to her emotions. So, girls stay on the same spot for hours and hours. Why? Because they know that they're getting that attention. They know that that's the warm end of the pool. Next up, rarely being the one to call, ask out, or re-initiate a conversation. Some girls will, right? Some girls will call you, no problem. Some girls will re-initiate conversations. Some girls, you know, will make the move. I actually like that. I find that, me personally, I don't like games. Like, to me, the game thing is just silly. To me, almost viewed as insecure. But I don't, I try not to judge you or anything because we all have our insecurities. But the point is, I don't really like it that much. I like a girl who knows what she wants. But the thing is like, most girls have it programmed within them not to reinitiate. And why is that?
Because our society tells them to play games.
Yeah. Social programming huge, right? Like, look at the movie Hitch, right? The girl's like a bitch the entire way through. And then it's like, he's like, I love her, right? So it's almost like teaching women that that's what's hot, right?
It's like The Rules.
Yeah, books like The Rules, right? But you know what? I actually like books like The Rules because I like it when a girl does not act like needy and start trying to call me like all the time and stuff, right? But regardless. Okay, so say that you have... you're talking to a girl, okay? Conversation. And say that like the bouncer sort of blasts by and it gets pushed apart. A lot of times she just stands there and goes back to her friends or whatever. Why is that? Well, again, it's creating that polarity because it's creating that feeling inside of the guy that she's the prize, right? So a lot of the time, girls will pass up on great opportunities just because their unconscious mind has learned the behavior, be the prize. And I want you guys to really think about this. These are unconsciously learned behaviors. Okay? These are unconsciously learned behaviors. Look, in the same way, say that a guy is becoming, take a guy, right? He's becoming like an alpha male at a young age, and he learns if someone doesn't have enough status or isn't interesting enough, if they try to talk to me, I don't hear it. Right? So he learns that. That's why I remember when you're a kid and there's someone you try and talk to and like they won't answer you back, like give you like a straight answer, and you're like, why are they doing that? What's the point of that? I don't understand. Well, it's a socially learned behavior. So women have these, again, to assert a polarity, they have these socially learned behaviors. Next up. Gotta love this one. Losing interest in sex if she comes out of a happy emotional state. You guys remember the Chris Rock comedy show? Where he says most guys will talk themselves out of getting laid? Yeah. Right? Like the girl's like, she's ready to have sex, and then the guy says something stupid, she's like, oh! Like that. It's that kind of vibe where it's like, if the girl, you know how as a guy, most of the time you probably just want to have sex either way? Whereas with a girl, if she loses her happy state, she just doesn't want to have sex anymore. She's like, I'm no longer interested. All right? Is it that she really is no longer interested? Not necessarily. But that's her unconscious mind's way of putting guys in a situation where they're always trying to keep her in a happy state. All right, now here's the next one. This is one of the most vexating things to guys of anything. Only being moved by the energy that she likes the most. So only being moved by an energy that's better than the one that she's already experiencing. I hate that, right? Yeah, and see, here's what's going on there. So say that you have a woman and she's having fun with her friends. She's having a great time. And you come along, right? And you're not offering more value to the situation that she's having on her own. Well, of course, she's not going to be moved by that. She's going to go where the energy is, all right? Where the social energy is, the woman goes. This is also why looks has so little to do with meeting women. Because women are going to go where the social energy is more than anything. And lastly, and this is kind of a funny one, rewarding good behavior with little tastes of physical attention. So what do all these things do? All right? Let's look at all these things kind of like in an amalgam. What do they all add up to? First of all, do all girls have these behaviors?
Yeah. No. All of them have some of them on some level, but pretty much.
Some girls could benefit by having these behaviors, right? They know a girl who's too straight, right? She is too rigid. She does not have those behaviors. Some girls have all of them. Have you guys ever met a girl who is literally just almost uncontrollable? Mm-hmm. Right? Just like a wild girl. She's completely uncontrollable, right? And as a guy, it's almost like your instinct is almost like to try to almost get it because you want that validation. Okay? Of course, that's not always the best kind of girl to be in a relationship with at all, is it? That's like the equivalent of the girl that dates the jerk guy, right? And then meanwhile, you yourself kind of fall into that mindset. But look, Different girls have these behaviors to different extents. Some have a lot of them, some have none of them at all. Most have one or two. But let's think of what it adds up to, you know. She's moving in a way that draws attention. She's with her friends doing her thing. They're dancing, right? They're rewarding good behavior with a little bit of physical attention and then retracting it, right? She's moved by the energy that she likes. As soon as she doesn't like it anymore, it gets pulled away. What is this doing to the guy? What is this doing to you?
Drawing him in.
Sucks you in, right? It gives you this vexing feeling that if you don't keep her in a good emotional state and satisfying her needs, that she will flutter off like the little butterfly that she is.
Makes you reactive on.
It gets you extremely reactive. What happens when you start to emotionally invest into somebody? When you emotionally invest into somebody, does that make you more attached or less attached to the outcome?
More.
All right? So you continue to invest your time, emotions, and energy into this girl. And the more that you invest, the more that you backwards rationalize that you're invested in, that what you were doing had a good reason, and then the more that you keep investing ad nauseum. All right? What the girl's basically putting into you is that she will be totally fine without you. She's totally happy on her own. This is a girl with a very strong polarity. She's totally happy. Why is she happy without you? Because the energy of the environment is fulfilling her. She doesn't need you. So most guys get trapped by this. So what's like the classic date, right? Like the classic date where the guy's like, okay, first I've got to bring her the flowers, then I've got to bring her the movie, like put her in a good emotional state, right? Then I've got to bring her to a restaurant that she likes and keep her in a good emotional state there.
It's irrelevant.
Right? What are they trying to do? They're trying to create polarity themselves. We'll get into that. But the thing is, she is creating that vexing feeling.